are anonymous. We were silent for a long time, but the authorities of the European countries participating in the Schengen Agreement forced us to record this video of an appeal to them. The situation that is emerging now in terms of human security is gaining a special round of confrontation between the member countries of the Eurasian Union of the Republics of Belarus, Ukraine, Russia, with senile proposals from the retired Chancellor of Germany and the President of the United States of America and some member countries of the Normandy format. We want to state that the materials we have posted and everything we have said in this video is an official appeal to sane people, and we demand an immediate investigation. More recently, officially, and on the YouTube channel of leading Russian journalist Vladimir Solovyov and journalist Alexander Sosnovsky, material related to the laundering of quite large amounts of money through the Ukrainian government and the withdrawal of money tranches to offshore was shown. The journalist was presented and shown official documents indicating the criminal actions of the presidents of Ukraine and Poroshenko and Zelensky. The money that was laundered through Ukraine belonged to the largest enterprises and individuals of the 19th to 20th centuries. Both the enterprises and the people who owned these huge sums of money are no longer in the registers of finance or alive. The banks also store the greatest values and works of great artists and jewelers of the 17th to 19th centuries. Since 2014, when Poroshenko came to power, a secret agreement was concluded with the Masonic Lodge of the Chancellor of Germany and other leaders of this secret order. We pay special attention. The presidents of Ukraine who came to rule Ukraine after 2014, who assumed their rights as President of Ukraine in public, on TV, begin to behave very strangely, show themselves intimidated and do not understand what is happening at all. This is not an anomaly. This is a psychological state and devotion to the secret contract of the seal of the order. The journalist, on the air, voices and shows all the materials received, and shows a video report. Then there was the following performance on Vladimir Solovyov's channel and another interview, where the name and surname, and the family of our kind and faithful friend anonymous Igor Makarov were revealed. The journalist very accurately and professionally outlined, for the viewer's understanding, the real situation in which our colleague's family found themselves and the theft of his child and moral and political pressure on Igor and his family, his young children. We will not tolerate this anymore. We are now trying to explain what is happening and what is the way out of this financial situation and the escalation of conflict situations in terms of military actions around Ukraine. Both Presidents Poroshenko and Zelensky are trying to escalate the situation at the same time and at the same time trying to point to the European Union and possible military assistance. Now let's try to show how we see this situation. Ukraine as a state practically does not exist as significant in terms of the vision of both the European Union and the leaders of the countries of Asia and the East. The seal of destruction was imposed on this country from the very beginning. As soon as in 2014 there were no measurable processes in terms of governing this country. People who served in the secret order appeared in the government. This is the so-called Minister of Health Sopron, who was supposed to reduce the population of Ukraine by 12 to 14 times. These are people who have come to the key management bodies of power structures, who have no idea how to manage this or that structure. Now almost all the so-called imposters in the administration of the country and law enforcement agencies are clients of large regional psychiatric hospitals in Ukraine. Ukraine was sent on a course of massive financial fraud, and a secret vault. To elect and serve that small handful of the secret order, a lot of people are not needed, it is ballast and must be destroyed. In Ukraine, they are organizing a center for the preparation of world terrorism and a center for the distribution of drugs throughout the European Union. There is a military conflict in the country, which will be maintained for many more years. Perhaps the leading journalist Alexander Sosnovsky understood this situation and did not want to further thicken the colors around Igor's family, but after all, the situation needs to be clarified completely and lay out all the convincing facts that now have a real place in the information circle. In the last interview, the journalist conducts a program showing new facts of what is happening in Ukraine and Mrs. Igor's words, who influenced and revealed this group of Pandora groups. Information who interfered in the elections of American presidents and Trump and Biden, too. At this stage in Ukraine, many shows on tiers are shown on television channels, shows of pressing one or the other buttons. Wagner's group is in a big confrontation with the secret of the Order of Freemasons. The mass media write verbatim, "This special operation, which has no analogues in its complexity and scale, was supposed to end with the forced landing of a plane with several dozen militants on the territory of Ukraine, but at the last moment, when the Wagnerians were already heading to the Minsk airport, the operation was postponed after a meeting of intelligence officers with the political leadership, which ended with the arrest of mercenaries by the Belarusian KGB. In fact, the circumstances happened in chronological order in a completely different way. Wagner's group was aimed at destroying the psychiatric registered persons of the entourage of the President of Ukraine. In Kiev, negotiations were held with Wagner's group at the airport level and several tons of money were brought into the plane. Tons. It is a unit of measurement of finance in Ukraine. The provocation and removal of the President of Belarus Lukashenko was proposed. The order came from Poroshenko and Zelensky and the Cardinal of the Secret Order. Geographically, Ukraine provides for certain amounts of money the opportunity to prepare and train in the Donbass. Early explosions at weapons depots in Ukraine and many other emergencies are just paid training and preparation of terrorists. Now Dmitry Spivak and Yevgeny Muriv and other freedom-loving people are beginning to criticize the President of Ukraine on TV channels, but the President of Ukraine Zelensky in another interview declares that a dog that barks, it does not bite. Anonymous calls on journalist Alexander Sosnovsky to continue posting the necessary materials received from Igor Makarov, to open the question of why Ukraine is so silent and continues to build up military doctrine in relation to both Belarus and Russia. Mass fascination with terrorism. Ukraine needs a war to destroy the facts of all financial frauds and all the threat that goes to the European Union through the country. The enthusiasm for receiving huge sums of money and psychological deviations among those who are in charge of the country causes particular concern in terms of security in the world. The information should be as accessible and disclosed as possible. We are worried about our friend, with whom we have been connected for many years in terms of our work, Igor Makarov. We suggest that you familiarize yourself with the available information as much as possible. Anonymous hopes for psychiatric medications and suggests that the government of Ukraine stop. We need to stop the genocide of our own people. It is necessary to stop TV shows and especially Savik Schuster, who is also familiar with the secret order of Freemasons. We call on the government of President Zelensky to openly speak out en masse to the people and ask for forgiveness for the grave crimes committed before the people of Ukraine. To leave the country and give the opportunity to try to restore that line on the world map, which so far has the name Ukraine. If our statement and appeal are ignored, we will officially and massively publish the databases of psychiatric clinics of Ukraine hacked by us, indicating the medical histories of persons around the President of Ukraine, databases obtained from the Ministry of Health and the Prosecutor General. We will publish all available video and audio recordings of all persons who committed crimes within the state, crimes against our colleague Igor Makarov and his children. We once again ask journalist Alexander Sosnovsky not to pause this most high-profile investigation in history. We are anonymous. We are the Legion. We don't forgive. We don't forget. Wait for us. We suggest that you pay attention to what has been said.